I'm BugeyeBob, and I'm on a mission to resurrect this 1958 Austin Healey Mark I Sprite from this to this, so it doesn't end up in this. Bought the Art Captain TIG 200 welder with the foot pedal. This is the box the foot pedal comes in. Cable. That's interesting. Huh. They actually send you two cables. Why do we get two cables? Link. Link machine. And the other one doesn't say anything. Okay, whatever. There's the foot pedal. There is the manual. Save all this shit. Let's see. That is a massive foot pedal. That sucker is serious. Adjustment 0 to 200 amps, aviation plug 5-pin, length 3 meters, 10,000 k-ohm resistance, or 10 k-ohm resistance. Sorry about that. That seems like a lot more solid than I expected. Got a grip pad on the bottom to hopefully keep your foot from slipping on, and a little place to catch your heel too, right there. That's slick. $80-some, I guess it should be. Let's see what the manual says. It says it's a foot pedal. It says it's a foot pedal. That's what it says. No destructions in it. All right, let's open this puppy up and see what we got in here. We have cables. What we have here looks to be the TIG torch. Let's see if I can open this thing up. Grip the plastic between your thumb and first fingernail, go like that, slices it right open. Works a treat. That is our cable. Attention, replace worn part on time. Please clear the circuit. Whatever that means. That's the end that plugs into the welder. Seems pretty serious. I do want to know how the hell that's supposed to work. Oh, never mind. This is what carries the gas. My stupid brain thought there should be a hole in there for gas, but it's not. And this is the plug that plugs in to control stuff. The torch has, it feels like a simple on-off. All right. There's that cable. This is your cups, your electrode caps for short and long electrodes. And your gas diffuser and the little buggers to hold your electrodes. That one is 1/8. This one is 3/32. That one is 1/16, so we're good with those. I'm curious to find out whether or not those are the same ones that the TIG Welder uses for its TIG torch. What do we have here? This is for gas from the tank to the back of the unit. That is the carrying strap. This is the stinger for stick welding, which that's not going to be used. This is the adapter to go from 240 to 120. That's never going to be used. There's our cable. Now let's pull the welder out if we can. Oh yes. Oh, there's shit down here in the bottom. Well, we'll get those out and look at them in a minute. Huh. There's a welder. Oh, now this is cute. Top 1 welder, certified badass welder. I'm a dad and a welder, nothing scares me. And support your local welder and a Flash Life Arc Captain sticker. How nice. Those will go over there because they're not going anywhere. And this is the manual that looks pretty much like the one that I downloaded. Let's see if I can find. Yeah. You get to the section in here where it says 2T, 4T, select 4T, and then it gives all this shit about running it in 4T, but it doesn't tell you whether this is all for 4T or whether it's for 2T. And the difference between 2T and 4T is within 2T, if I remember correctly, you hold down the button and you get current. You let off the button, it stops. With 4T, you hold down and push down on the button and the current starts, and then you do your welding and then you hit the button again to stop the current. So I guess 4T is designed for people who have weak fingers. But anyways, enough of that. This is a ground clamp, which honestly, I like the looks of this ground clamp better than I do the one that came with the other welder. find out, I guess. Let's get into the welder. Rear of it, gas connection here, on-off switch here. Front of it, you have, the hell is that? Get out of here, you stupid bee. Your 2 ground and electrode connections, the trigger connection, and the gas out connection. You have a button for welding mode, a button for preferences, and a button for control mode. And then this little thingy here, which you turn to adjust whatever it is you're controlling. So that takes care of all that. Take some time to set it up now, and we'll see where we get to with it. Okay, let's talk about this little welder. And let me get some glasses. So, all right, so this is done with the new welder. This line here was the old welder. This is new welder. These two here, it's kind of hard to see, there's actually 2 there, but those were done with a new welder. One of these was done, I think this one was done with fairly low amperage, just kind of seeing how low I could go. And then the last one of these was done at, God damn it, the last one of these was done at 45 amps. And you can see I had a little bit of melt through. I was traveling a little bit slow doing it, but compared to some of the issues I had with the old welder, let's talk about what I've found so far, both what I like and what I don't like. What I don't like is the manual is not great. The manual is your typical Chinesium manual. It doesn't really give you all of the information you'd like to have. But if you've kind of dealt with TIG before, you can kind of figure it out. Now, I bought the add-on foot pedal, and that's where things got really damn confusing. They apparently give you an extra cable that I think I've heard of a link controller for a welder, and there's a cable that comes with the foot pedal that says link machine on one end of it, but that cable you can't connect up to anything with this welder or this foot pedal. So it's like, what the hell, guys? The hose connections and stuff seem pretty standard. That's pretty good. The trigger on the TIG torch itself, I happen to particularly like. The high frequency start is better on this than on the old welder that I had. I actually found at one point that I was almost 3/4 of an inch away when I accidentally hit that high frequency start, and it was throwing a flame. So the high frequency start's pretty slick. I think because the old welder, I knew it was going to weld the tip down, and it was just a pain in the ass. It started off with me being kind of wound up. If I ever got the damn arc to run, then I was always worried about losing the arc, and so I would frequently end up dipping into the puddle. I haven't done that at all with this. In fact, the electrode feels, I don't know what they send as an electrode. It was, I think, a grayish color but that electrode is just as sharp as when I first put it on there. So, you know, the little welding that I did, no problems as far as that goes. I absolutely love the idea that I'm not a fan of this twists around a lot. It's just held on with a couple of wire ties, but I would kind of like to have that held on with like regular clamps of some sort so that it was a little bit more solid. But what I do like is that when I'm using the unit, and this is a problem with all of them, you run up to the situation where it has a position it wants to be in. So unless you have this cord positioned, twisted around in a way that it fits how you want to be, you're always fighting the end. You're always fighting this. I don't know, maybe there's somebody that makes a more expensive torch that has a twist fitting in there, a swivel fitting, so that you can twist it and you know, however you want, and you're not fighting this goddamn cable, because fighting this cable is a pain in the ass. But getting back to this trigger, absolutely awesome from the viewpoint that now I have the ability, not only with a high frequency start, but I have the ability to, when I'm done making my weld, I can let off on the trigger and I get post flow. With the other welder, it said it had post flow, but when you got to jerk the electrode away from the weld, you've destroyed any post flow. So I like the idea that with this, I can let that trigger go and I can get real post flow. As far as the machine itself goes, this is incredibly simple. It has basically, I think you have a couple of modes for welding, and those are either you're running stick mode, MMA, I think it is, or you're running TIG 2T or TIG 4T. And other than that, you have the ability to switch between using a remote controller or the, which I suspect the foot pedal is still under the same control as this. I think that other one is the manual doesn't tell you anything about the damn control functions. It just says, you know, trigger or control, so whatever. And then, what's this other thing on here? Preferences. So you can go in and you can set one or two preferences, but you don't have a lot of control of what your preferences are. You adjust your, you can, basically I think your preferences are your pre and post flow. Those are the ones, those are, no, it's the ramp down to post flow, I guess it is. And whatever I've got mine set to seems to work for me. And I think it's 3 milliseconds of ramp down, and then post flow is 2 or 3 seconds. Seems to work fine for me. This button right here, basically that's the control of your amperage. And other than that, you know, if you want pulse, you know, twiddle your finger or twiddle your foot pedal. The next, the other thing that I did not like is the control cable. It says it's got an aircraft fitting on there. Well, I haven't figured out how the frig that thing works, because I spent time in the Air Force, and basically you had a cannon plug and you screwed, you know, you plugged it in and then you turned the collar to tighten it down. This thing, you push it in and it goes click, but the collar doesn't seem to do a damn thing. It doesn't unscrew, so you can't unscrew it and pull it out. And I battled it, and I actually was worried that I was breaking it before it finally came undone. So maybe it's one of those things of you've got to push it in and pull the collar back to pull it off. I don't know. I suppose I can try that right now. That does work. So you have to, when you want to take it off, you have to push that in and then pull the collar back, and then you can pull the connection out. So I don't know how I figured that out, but I figured it out. Next test is going to be with the foot pedal. I have never run one with a foot pedal, so that'll be fun. One other thing that really threw me was, I'm going to have to turn this fan off. The fan's a little noisy. It runs at startup, and then after a few seconds it seems to stop and then start back up again whenever it needs the fan. Where the hell are my gloves at? Guess I need to get some of those pink welding gloves so I can see them when I set them down. Too many things in this garage are black and white. All right, so right now it is set for TIG 2T, 45 amps. I'm going to drop that down to 40 amps. I have the foot pedal here, and I'm going to move that foot pedal around to where, and I'm just going to do a little bit. So right there, you just saw a good inch-long high-frequency start. So that is massive. I don't know, I'm actually pretty pleased with how well that looks. I mean, it's not a great weld, I'm not a great welder, but that lays down nice. You got penetration all the way through. I had a hole in the puddle in the end because I didn't put any filler in at the very end like I should have. Let's see here. See if I can grab this hot mamma jamma here and bring it up and show it to you. Oh, one other thing. You hit the off switch, it's not going to shut off immediately. It's got to cool down inside. There it goes. So it drove me nuts because I hit the off switch and expected it to shut off, and it doesn't shut off automatically. But now I understand why. So this right here was the last weld that I did. That's the back side of it right there. To be honest with you, I'm pretty pleased with that. I mean, I still have to work on the speed I put in filler rod and stuff, but you know, for only using this thing maybe 5 minutes total, I think that's pretty good. This thing, you set it on the right-hand side, start to use it, it's going to blow air out, it's going to blow all the shielding gas away, you're going to think your machine's broke. It's not the machine that's broke, it's this thing pumping air out the side. And you're going to end up with nastiness like this. It'll literally burn holes through the metal. it'll make everything look all rusty, nothing's going to work right, and that's all because all your shielding gas is getting pushed out of the way. I want nuts figuring that out. So, where are we at? Don't ever set one of these. Check if your welder's got a vent on this side, set it on the other side of you. Set it on your left-hand side. If it's got a vent on the right-hand side, set it on the right-hand side of you. Don't set it straight in front of you because it's going to blow air out in front on you. So that's it as far as this welder goes. So I bought some actually the first TIG wire I bought was ER70S-2. I don't have no idea how I ended up with that. But it's supposed to be good for rusty metal. So I have here a piece of very rusty metal, which was taken out of the car. And I have here a piece of pretty rusty metal. This stuff here is 70 years old. Yeah, close to it. 60 some years old. This is more modern stuff. Got my TIG 200 going here. I'm going to turn it on. It's going to sound like a fucking jet engine. Sorry, I can do nothing about that, folks. That's the way life is with this thing. We're going to touch that. Going to touch up the electrode first, though. Let's let this sumbitch start making noise. Right about there, there's a spot. Let's see if we get anything. Okay, so the torch itself will burn through the surface rust. Blew it all off the back. Let's see what this rod will do. All right. I gotta say, folks, that's a bead. But what's it do if we want to weld it to another piece of steel? This is like a torture test, if ever there was one. All right, folks. Quite frankly, if I hadn't have seen that myself, I would have never believed that. Oh, shit. All right. Just for giggles, I have to see what happens when I try welding with ER70S-6. What kind of horrendous mess do we get? Let's put that in a little bit more like this. Well, I got a weld on rusty metal with the ER70S-6. I got penetration through to the other side, but I had a real tough time starting it because it wanted to melt the old metal long before it wanted to melt or wanted to melt the new metal long before it wanted to melt the old metal. So let me shut this off. Yeah, that's hot. Let's see here. How well can you see? This weld here was done with ER70S-2, which is designed for working with rusty metal. And it's not too bad. It didn't get a lot of penetration through, but I probably could have turned my heat up a little bit on that. This one here is ER70S-6. Both of them are running at 45 amps. And I had trouble starting this one because it wanted to, I don't know if you can see that, but it blew through to begin with, and then I finally got it over on there. But you notice this weld is up higher, and it didn't really want to meld into the rusty metal very well. This weld looks to me like it flowed out into the rusty metal a lot better than the other one did. And it actually only caught just the tiny edge of that because I really wasn't on the rusty metal on the center of the weld. This one I was on it on the center of the weld, but this still beads up higher than this one does. Maybe you can see that it beaded up a little bit, but not as much at the very start of the weld. Hopefully you can see that. So I guess you could probably use either one. I could have run the 70S-2 hotter, I think. The 70S-6 looks like it penetrated pretty good. But the 70 dash, the dash 2 could have gone with a little bit more heat, I think. But honestly, I'm really shocked that either one of them, as rusted as that metal is, as pitted as that is, to get that to weld, I am shocked. Next test is going to be with a bit of, what is that stuff? Silicon bronze. All right, as you can see, just a shitload of spatter and stuff. When I cranked the amperage and speed up real high, it cut down on the spatter. That's the very last one that I did. There's the very last one that I did. And that was 120 amps and like 25 feet per minute and 13.9 volts or something like that. I don't know how much I'm going to be trying to use this to glue things together with on the car, but and this is 2 beads, by the way. I ran 1 bead and then I ran a second one alongside of it so that it melded together and made it look like one. That much heat into it, it almost melded and widened out. But it's, you can see it puts up a very narrow bead at what I'm running at on my machine. It may be that I just can't adjust my welder to where it has the right combination of voltage and amperage and wire speed, because I can't adjust wire speed separately. So that's all that. Hope you learned something, folks, because I sure as hell did. So I wanted to clean off some of the rust and stuff that was starting to grow back on this panel. I didn't spray this down with anything to protect it like I should have. So I went and bought some of these 4.5-inch non-woven abrasive wheels. It says it's made out of silicon carbide. And thought, I've used stripper pads like this before. They seem to work pretty good. So let's give one of these a try. These were extremely cheap. They were like $4 a piece on sale. So I bought 4 of them and started using them and quickly discovered they work all right for stripping paint off. Like this still had paint on it, so I used it to strip the paint off. But the problem is, after you strip the paint off, you've got to go over it again with something else, because this has so much of this plastic binder in it that on edges, it will literally, actually edges in other places, it will literally leave a thick black coating. And you can see that along here. If I slide you up this way, you can see it right there. So my personal opinion of these things is, yeah, they'll strip paint off. Probably not as great for rust. They didn't seem to do much good on trying to get the rust off. But to be honest with you, you can see right here some of that no, you can't see because I got the camera pointed wrong. You can see right in here, there's some of that black crud. Up here, there's some of that black crud. And it's literally like it's put plastic coating on the damn thing. So that does not work as much as I would like to have it. So I'm not buying any more of those things. What I'm used to are the stripper pads that are built kind of like the pads that go on these surface conditioning tools. I mean, that's essentially the same pad, just slices around. But the difference is there's a lot more grit and a lot less plastic. That other one has a lot of plastic in it, and this one doesn't. This works really good for stripping paint and rust and everything off. That other thing doesn't work worth a damn. So just my not so humble opinion about those. Well, folks, that's it for this episode of BugeyeBob. I really appreciate you watching and hope that, like me, you've learned a few things to do or maybe not to do in this episode. Please like and comment on this video as it encourages YouTube to share it with others and helps grow the channel. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell to get notified when new videos are released. If you'd like to support this channel and save Lazarus from the recycle furnace, you can now make a one-time or recurring donation through PayPal. You can also support this restoration project by becoming a member at patreon.com/BugeyeBob. Patreon members get early access to the videos and in the future will enjoy question and answer sessions and live streams. As this channel grows, future Patreon member benefits will include bonus or extended videos, member names in the credits, and the ability to suggest topics for future videos. You can follow this BugeyeBob restoration on YouTube and Facebook. You'll find the links in the description below for PayPal, Patreon, YouTube, and Facebook. Once again, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and supporting this channel.